Good morning, or good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you're tuning in from. Thank you for joining us live here on the African Reform Movement channel, where we discuss everything African reform with an emphasis on Ghana. If you're joining us for the first time today, you're welcome. My name is Uche, and I'm your host for today. As ever, we have the distinguished Dr. Nee Darko, President of the ARM, who wants to share his vision for a brighter, healthier, safer Ghana. Today's topic is going to be thinking outside of the box, the super ministry concept. We'll get into that in just a moment. But like I say, if you're new here, there's a few things you need to know. Dr. Nee has a number of social media handles, as you can see at the bottom of your screen there. Please feel free to subscribe to any one of those, and you can communicate with him via those. If you don't have opportunity to take it down now, there's no problem, because it will be in the description box of his YouTube channel under this particular broadcast. He's also written a number of books, which can all be purchased at this address. He's writing a few more books, actually, in the upcoming years. So please keep an eye on that and purchase the books. Like I say, it will help you to understand what frames his thinking, why he thinks the way he thinks, and why he feels the way he feels about Ghana as well. So please do purchase the books so we can be on the same page. So, as I said, today's topic is thinking outside the box, the super ministry concept. So, Dr. Nee, welcome. Thank you for joining us again, and over to you.
Thank you very much, Uche. And before I start, I'll ask all of you to say a big thank you to Uche, because I contacted only on Saturday that I'd like to have this program today. We haven't had a program since sometime December last year, because I was thinking of moving onto Facebook. We haven't worked out things very well yet, but I asked her for this particular show because I wrote an article, I think Monday or Tuesday, and I realized that there is more for me to say about this new concept than just one page ago. Besides, few friends, someone you got talk more about this. So I decided to take a one-off YouTube session today to dilate on this super ministry concept. Like Einstein said, if you do the same thing the same way and you expect different results, then you are insane. That's how he defines insanity. Doing the same thing the same way and expecting different results. Right on a particular pathway, and we know where we are today. It's not for me to tell Ghanaians where they are today and why they are where they are today. It's very obvious. The system is broken. Part of the reason why I'm quite hopeful for Ghana is because, when you look at it seriously, you know that our fundamental problems are quite basic, really. It's just a bit of misunderstanding here and there. And once we get the correct leadership to do the right thing, we should be back on track very, very quickly. One of the major things or one of the basic things that affects us majorly is even understanding of the concept of the state. We don't seem to understand. So we use the words nation, state, country interchangeably, but they mean very different things. And a proper understanding is vital for a movement. I'll start by saying that a nation refers to a people. A state refers to the system that these people put in place to govern themselves. And the country refers to the territory on which they live. So everything is about the people. And that's why we define, or democracy is aptly defined as government of the people, by the people, and for the people, whichever we want to combine it. It's about the people. It therefore means that to have a successful state, you must have a successful nation. And that's why people call it a nation state. Without a nation, without a successful nation, there can be no successful state, because the nation creates the state for its own governance. I'm not going to go into the politics of this, because somehow our politicians believe that the state is supreme. No, the nation is supreme. The people, the nation, create the state for themselves to govern them. They own the states. Now, the governance system, the strategy people put in place to govern themselves is very important. We have done it one way or the other for 56 years, and we are in the doldrums. Thinking outside the box is trying to look at, okay, what else can we do? How can we do it differently? How can we do it outside what is written in the books that we have read, and probably we read more than those who even wrote the books? And yes, nothing seems to be working. How can we do it differently? And that's where this is coming from. All right. Now I don't even know the number of ministers we have. I don't know the number of ministers we've had since the Fourth Republic. It keeps changing with each government because right away that's what they like, but there is no plan in place. Even the constitution doesn't tell government how many ministers we can have. We are just doing something kitchen. So we are coming with a structure. This structure is not entirely new, but it's new. I call it a super ministry structure. Can you please have the first slide? Thinking outside the box. So now we have 25 ministries. And these 25 ministries, some of them overlap and they overlap and there's no clarity as to which ministry does what. So the best thing to do is to regroup them into 5 super ministries. You see that 5 related portfolios are in one super ministry. In the process, as a result, we tend to have 5 super ministries, each super ministry with 5 ministries. So we have social services, we have the economy, we have law and order, we have natural resources and integrated development, and then we have international relations and national integration. So each of these super ministries will be headed by a senior minister. Now, this senior minister is one of the 5 ministers. So out of the 5, one will be chosen to lead the super ministry. And because of the way they are structured, there will be no need for deputy ministers. Okay, if one minister is not around, one other minister in the super ministry will deputize for him. So we have 5 super ministries. Now we will be seeing what advantages there are. There are many advantages, but I think I'll focus on only 5 today. Can we see the next slide? Advantage of SMC. SMC is super ministry concept. So overall good governance. That is one. We will talk about it in details in a minute. Number 2 is accountability. Now, with this concept, we're going to have a president, a prime minister. We can talk about the prime minister and president, why it's better than a president and vice president. We can talk about it the whole day. I've written about it in my book, Democracy. I've written a book in the Fifth Republic, and I'm going to write about it again in the new book I'm publishing, Sacrifice. So basically, we have a split executive, an elected president, and an appointed prime minister. As most of you know, this first split executive happened. This split executive happened for the first time in recorded history in Africa. Okay, it happened in Africa, in Egypt, when the pharaoh split his executive power and made Joseph the prime minister. And that's why it's a pillar of democracy in African people. The first time in recorded history that we had a president who was a pharaoh and a prime minister who was Joseph happened on our continent. So if anybody tells you that we don't know anything about governance, tell the person it is a lie. The first ever in recorded history that we had split executive was on African soil, by African pharaoh. All right. So overall governance is better improved with the SNC model. You have a prime minister who actually is the head of cabinet. Those of you, I think it's Genesis chapter 47 or thereabout. Go and read the power that the Pharaoh gave to Joseph. He said nobody will do anything in Egypt without his consent. And he, Pharaoh, was only superior to him, David, because of the throne. If he is not there, he is in charge. Okay, so we have a script executive. Now, with the script, with the SMC system, we also have what we call the Policy Executive Committee and the Management Executive Committee. What does that? What do those two things mean? The president, the prime minister, and the 5 senior ministers, they form the Policy Executive Committee. They make the general policies. Okay, and then the Management Executive Committee, which is the real cabinet, is made up of the prime minister and the 25 ministers, 5 of which are the senior ministers, who together with him form part of the Policy Executive Committee. So they form the policies there, and they bring the policies to the general committee, and each ministry gets what it has to do. Okay, so the general cabinet is a management executive committee. The policy executive committee is like the board of directors of a company. And then this one is the executive management committee of a company headed by the CEO. So they're in the government. The chairman of the board is the president, and the chief executive officer is the prime minister. So the prime minister and his executive directors meet the president, the chairman of the board, for policy issues. The policies are crafted in general terms. The president gives his vision for what he wants to be done, and then the prime minister and the senior ministers bring the information down to the general cabinet for further dilation, fine-tuning, implementation, and monitoring. That's what the cabinet does. And now, that's where accountability lies, because everybody knows what you're supposed to do. There's no finger pointing. The policy committee, that's what he has to do. The management committee, that's what he has to do. Now, secondly, or thirdly, planning and budgeting synchrony. Now, you're not going to have a situation where one ministry does this, another ministry does that, and when they bring their budgets to the finance minister or whoever, you realize that no, there is duplication and triplication. With this, all related ministries will be in the same super ministry. They look at their budget, what they have to do. Oh, there's overlap here. The medical school, is it Ministry of Health or Ministry of Education? The nursing training colleges, are they Ministry of Education or Ministry of Health? All these things will be ironed out there once and for all. So that when they lead the super ministry budget, it covers everything without duplication and triplication. That takes a lot of money, that's a lot of manpower hours, because everything is well streamlined. Then what do we have? Cross-deputization. Yes, I've said about this before, because we are in the same place, we plan the same things, we budget, we do everything together. When one is not there, the other minister steps in easily to deputize. So there will be no need for deputies at all. They are doing away with deputies. They don't do anything. And then, of course, we have the retention of executive power. Now, this is important because, it's only in Ghana where if the president and the vice are not physically available, a speaker of parliament takes over. You cannot transfer executive power to the legislature. Okay? Even in Australia, where it's a parliamentary system and both the prime minister and the deputy sit in parliament, the speaker of parliament, when they are not there, it's another minister who takes over, not the speaker of parliament, because you cannot give executive power to the legislature. They are independent and separate. It's a complete disaster and lack of understanding for those who wrote the constitution to make the arrangement there. I don't know where. I'm sure that's the way we've been doing things, but nobody has actually thought about, look, you cannot just do it that way. It is not correct. So what you're going to do is that when the president is not there, the prime minister is in charge. When the prime minister is not there and the president is also not there, one of the senior ministers will be in charge. At any time, there's one senior minister who will be in charge, and that's the way it's going to be. We retain executive power with it, because you cannot have a speaker of parliament chairing cabinet meeting. This is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. So these are some of the low-hanging advantages of the SMC. Now, today we'll focus on one SMC, that is social services. So can you please have next slide? Social services. Now, this is very important. This is very, 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 very important. There are 5 ministries under this super ministry. The first one is health, plant medicine, and medical tourism. The second one is education, youth employment, and sports. The third one is family and community development. The fourth one is housing and water. And the fifth one is arts, culture, and tourism. These are 5 ministries under the social services super ministry. As I've indicated somewhere else, I, Niamudarasi, under an ARM-inspired or led government, will be personally responsible for health, plant medicine, and medical tourism, and also for education, youth employment, and sports. These are very, very important portfolios for me. I'll be assisted by 2 special assistants, but I will be personally responsible. I will be personally responsible for writing the health policy of this country, the education policy of this country, and what we have to do differently to put us up there with the big boys, because we can do it. And then we have family and community development, which is central to everything in this country. And then housing and water, arts, culture, and tourism. Next slide, please. So, health, plant medicine, and medical tourism. This is the first time we are seeing a portfolio like this in the history of the world, not just Ghana, in the history of the world. You've never seen a portfolio, health, plant medicine, and medical tourism. The philosophy here is this. Health is actually more than medical care. I wish above all things that you may prosper and be in good health, even as your soul prospers. Health is not the absence of disease. It's a total well-being of the individual. Physical, mental, financial, whatever. Now, if we decide to limit ourselves to Medicare or medical care, even that is not just hospital care. It's far more than hospital care. So before we even talk about health and the provision of health, we have to understand the broad and the scope of health. I'm going to write about the health policy. Now, I'm not going to talk about the health policy here today because that will take the whole day. But what I want to bring across here is that our understanding of what is health must change, and it will change. Now, and this is the thing. The next one is expansion. You cannot start a new project without new money. Can you? You can't. If your budget, okay, in the budget for this year, government total revenue is about 12 billion US dollars. And the total government expense is about 15 billion US dollars. So there's $4 billion of deficit. Okay. Now let's assume there's no deficit. Let's assume that we have 15 billion. You are not going to start a new project without new money. If you want to start a new project, they must create new money outside the 15 billion. for the new project. Otherwise, what you're going to do is to rob Peter to pay Paul. And when you do that, you have major problem of maintaining what you have created because it's not made of its own money. Let's know why. You see, when Akufo-Addo went to, or when he was interviewed by the BBC and was asked about how they were going to fund the free SHS, he couldn't talk. So he hasn't envisioned the situation where you have to understand before you bring on a new project, you have new money for it. So he didn't know what to say. You cannot expand without new source of funding. Anybody who comes around and promises you whatever, yesterday the person, where the money comes from? Because this is the budget you have. Are you going to do the new thing from the same budget? So if that's the case, which part of the budget are you going to take this money from to do the new thing? Funding is important. And when somebody comes with big new ideas without funding, you got to question. And that's why we have plant medicine. I know in Australia alone, plant medicine or what they call herbal medicine is about $3 billion. The market was very low. And I know how powerful plant medicine can be. The other time I was saying that God is very key, and according to all that I've read, it came 1919. By 1927, cocoa was 84% of all our external earnings. One man, cocoa was 84% of our total external earnings. And from that, he built Achimota, he built Takrady Harbour, he built Makola, he built the supermarket, he built a maternity home, he built children's hospital, he built 4,000 kilometers of road, he extended the railway from, what is the name of that place? Anyway, from Accra to one part, I've forgotten the part, and then to Kumasi. He did a lot of things because he was able to fund, he was able to create money for this project. Cocoa, Ghana became number one producer and exporter of cocoa. By 1927, cocoa accounted for 84% of all our external earnings. To do this, we need a new cocoa to expand, and that's where plant medicine comes in. We are going to invest into plant medicine, and I know Ghana will become a powerhouse. If Ghana, a population of 5 million, could be the world leader in cocoa, I'm telling you, Ghana population is 32 million, can be the world leader in plant medicine within no time. And that's why we get massive money. There's no two ways about that. I mean, things like Tami, Tami, Miraculous, I've forgotten his name, is this fruit that when you eat, whatever you put in your mouth becomes sweet. Now, with the diabetic epidemic, we know that Tami will be the next gold in the world. And we have it growing wild in Dodua and Oraga. We are going to take plant medicine to the next level. We know Aluguntugun, soursop. We know its chemotherapeutic qualities. Some people wanted to invest, do something in Amazon with this soursop. Maybe 10, 12 years ago, one big pharmaceutical company went and bought them $420 million. I won't mention the pharmaceutical company. They chase me. They went and bought them and they closed. But they know that if they could develop cancer treatment from Aluguntugun, then the chemotherapeutic agents and whatever they have been making forever will become next to zero. But this will be natural and no side effects. They paid them $120 million and close the place. Plant medicine is going to be our new cocoa, I'm telling you. And once we have established excellent centers of healthcare, medical tourism will become the next source of money for us. The whole West Africa and beyond will become to Ghana for their medical treatment. So if you look at the philosophy, You look at the expansion and then you look for money to fund the expansion. That's the way forward. And that's what they're going to do. I'm not talking about setting policies here. All those ones will come in my manifesto, which I call Ghana must be born again. So that will come. But I'm just laying down the foundation of why we have a Minister of Health, Plant Medicine, and Medical Tourism. Who will be me? I'll be that minister. Okay. I'm not interested in becoming a toilet commissioning president. I want to be in charge of health policy in Ghana, that it shall become a template for the rest of Africa. Next slide, please. Education, youth employment, and sports. These three portfolios are the only portfolios that deal with the youth. Education is about youth empowerment. Then once they're empowered, you have to find a way of employing them. And then, of course, when it comes to sports, sports are for youth. So again, here we talk about the philosophy, the expansion, and funding. Now, for those of you who don't know, with the exception of Francophonie, I think the exception of Francophonie, every single national tennis, lawn tennis champion has come from Osu. Every single one has come from Osu. In fact, no, has come from Osu. Has come from Osu Kinkan. Just one part of Osu. And it's simply because the only viable tennis, what do you call it? Tennis club or tennis whatever is in Osu Kinkan, just opposite to the stadium. And Kingawe boys will go there to go and catch balls, as kids. They will go and catch balls for those playing and they get paid. A lot of people educated themselves from catching balls at the club there. We call it a club. Those who are in the club today, they were my friends and mates in primary school. So when I'm in Ghana, I go there almost every day. They always want me to be there. And I realized that if we could have the same facilities, the same club in every region in Ghana, I'm sure we will be doing a lot more in the tennis world. The same thing. Almost all national athletes, champions in my time have come from Accra and one or two from Kumasi, because these are the places where you have the facilities. The talent is not the problem. The problem is the facility. Now, the philosophy is that we need to educate our children. We need to give everybody equal opportunity. That time I was on, what's his name? Captain Smart's show, and he was talking about free SH. I said, we just still don't get it. Nobody starts school from SHS. Everybody starts school from class 1. The problem in Ghana education is not SHS. The problem in Ghana education is primary education. And if you want to be fair, if you have 12 years, from class 1 to SHS 3 before university, you cannot spend 50% of that money in the last 3 years. You just can't. Before you think of free SHS, you have to think of extra money from somewhere. You cannot use the money for education for free SHS and leave them vulnerable parts out. So we call it equal opportunity. Equal opportunity is to make sure that if somebody goes to class 1, whether a person goes to Dali in Osu or homeschool in Osu or university primary at Lagos or university primary Kumasi or Bema Camp, whatever, that person should have the same chance of going to university or going to polytechnic or going to wherever the person wants to go to. But it cannot be that government will fund one particular school or one particular stream of schools more than the other and disadvantage other Ghanaians. We're going to streamline. And I am going to write the education policy. Now, this is what's going to happen. This is what's going to happen. We're going to have, under my administration, we're going to have what I call the aeroplane model. You know the aeroplane, right? In the aeroplane model, if I want to go to Ghana from Australia, I can either go business class or economy. We'll get to the same place at the same time. One person will pay 4 times what the other person will pay. It's a matter of choice. It is a matter of choice. The government responsibility is to provide economy for everybody in the country. That's government responsibility. Government cannot provide business class for some people and leave some people out of even the economy. Because that's what we have today. Some people are still studying under trees, whilst children of ministers are being fed free in government secondary schools. That's unacceptable. So, government, within a period of 4 years, will expand education and make sure that everybody sits in a classroom of comparable standards across. Now, if it gets to a point of secondary school, every community must have its community day school. Those who want to go beyond that, and it's a matter of choice, will have to pay for business class. You don't want to go to boarding. And that's where the cross-subsidization comes in. If you pay, because of business class, economy fares are lower because airlines have the capacity to take money from business charges to subsidize for the economy. So we have cross-subsidization in the economy, bring the economy price down. And that's what's going to happen. We're going to embark on what we call education choice, that we're going to make up the big boarding schools. You know, Ghanaians have their children in America and UK. They want to bring them to the school in Ghana. They pay a premium price. Nigerian millionaires or whatever, people want to bring their children to school in Ghana, secondary school, they pay a premium price. The Ministry of Education will then get money to even subsidize day schools. We've got to create funds to be able to expand and get everybody on board. We are not going to pay for anybody's child to be fed in school. We're not going to do that. But before we do that, we must make sure that we have secondary schools in the communities. I mean, I cannot understand why somebody will live in where there is if there is a good day school there and go to a boarding school in Dodoa. It's only in Ghana that can happen. There's no country in the world where somebody will leave a place like Osu to go to a school in a place like Dodoa. No place in the world. People will come and buy houses in Osu so that their children will go to the best public schools in the best place in the country. But it's the other way around because of the way we started educational program, education system. A default boarding system which is not sustainable. And we know it's not sustainable now. And you can't continue doing the wrong thing and expect different results. So we're going to change the system. The default system is going to be community day schools. That's the economy class government is going to provide for everybody. If you want to go to business, free is your choice. Then the democracy is free. You can go there by pay the premium price, not at the expense of the poor. So that the poor child sits on the tree and you go to a boarding school and be fed by government. I am going to take a strong stand on this. And those who think they have different and a better agenda, they can come to me. But we have to do what we believe is in the interest. And I'm going to write the education policy of Ghana. We cannot discuss all here, but we don't have time. Next slide, please. Family and community development. This is the heart and soul of national development. Like I wrote yesterday, families beget communities. Communities beget a nation. and a nation begets a state. You cannot have a functioning state without functioning families, functioning communities, and the functioning nation. It just doesn't work like that. And that's the missing link in our struggle for national development. Everything is about the people. Now, we are going to take a very strong stand on our foundation because whether we evolved from monkeys or there was a big bang and this, or whether we were created by whoever, at the beginning, there was a man and a woman. At the beginning, there was a man and a woman. And that is why we are all here today. There is no controversy, so there is no negotiation. It's as simple as that. Marriage, therefore, can only be defined in one way: a voluntary union between a man and a woman, adult man and a woman, to the fruition of all others. It's as simple as that. The other question that naturally flows from this is that, okay, so a man cannot marry another man. Okay, there's no controversy there. They can live whatever they want to. They can do together, but they cannot marry another one. In families, for them to be complete and functional, ideally must be made up of a father and a mother. I know that's not always the case. Because I was brought up by two grandmothers, and there are many like me too. So we know a surgeon can always be made, but we have to define what the normal is. We have to define what the normal is. Now, this is a new ministry which is going to be at the center of national development. Very important. As a matter of fact, the minister for family and community development, he or she will be the senior minister for this super ministry. You know, when I was thinking about this, I was thinking maybe the prime minister should take on this extra portfolio. But then I realized that no, the prime minister will do something else. The prime minister will be in charge of ECOWAS and national integration. The prime minister will be in charge of the state governments. So the prime minister will be in charge of the state, and this minister will be in charge of the nation. The nation begets the state. And if this is going to be this person is going to be the senior minister, when the prime minister is not there, he or she will act. He's the first senior minister, technically the deputy prime minister. Very important to get the fundamentals right. The nation is born out of families, and families are carved around marriages. It's as simple as that. That is the only that. To have functioning families that the nation can take off, we have to start thinking about family planning in a very serious way. We cannot bring children into the world to just wander around and be, just struggle through life anyway, anyhow. No, we need to talk seriously about family planning. In 1957, when we became independent, we were just about 5.5 million. At that time, Cuba was about 6-something million. Between that time and now, Cuba is about 11.3 million, and we are 33 million. We are 3 times the population of Cuba, when at the beginning we were about the same. Because in Cuba, the general fertility rate, I think, is about 1.9. In Ghana, it's about 4 now. When I was in medical, it was 6.4. I even doubt this 4 we are talking about. We need family planning. If a family has 2 children, and another family with the same income has 5 children, then all things being equal, the family with the 2 children will enjoy a better standard of living. It's as simple as that. So this ministry is going to look very hard into family planning, that it should be our national anthem. Very important. But the quality of life depends on the mouth you feed. The next thing is vulnerable families. We have to create a system where vulnerable families can be supported. For me, as a Christian, it's part of my Christian ethos. We have to create a system where vulnerable families can, and this cannot be done at the national level. In our total system, under economic federalism, the premier of each state will also be the commissioner for family and community development. So, at intervals, this minister will meet the premiers of the various states to discuss the problems with family and community development, and where money will be found to fund all the support system. Support system cannot be done at the national level. It has to be done at the state level. And state premiers will be in charge of family and community development in their states. Very important. And then the next one is what? I can't even see. Oh yeah. Then we support for the disadvantaged. We'll be talking about the aged, the disabled, and the mentally ill. All these ones will fall under the work of the Minister of Family and Community Development, because without these things being done properly, the community cannot move forward and the nation cannot move forward. We have to find a way of helping the aged. We have to find a way of helping the disabled. We have to find a way of helping the mentally ill. These are core to me, and we're going to do it. And of course, we're going to have community centers and community integration. We have to have a community center in each community where people can have their weddings, they can have their outdooring, they can do everything there. That will bring money to the community, and that will bring unity to the community. I can talk about this all day long, but I'm just trying to clear away that we're going to have a new ministry, family and community development, that will be central for national development and state development. Oh, where is this?
You got one more slide, Dr. Nee. Oh. Hi, everybody. Dr. Nee's just been disconnected. Just give me a couple of minutes. Here he comes. Okay.
Hello. So, I lost you.
Okay, we're back. Let me just remove this. Oops.
Yeah, so.
Okay, so thank you for that, Dr. Nee. I was particularly interested in your plant medicine initiative, because that's something I'm really very, very much into myself at the moment.
Oh, good. Yeah. You see, so I'm a prophet. I didn't know what's happening to you. No, is that, you see, what people don't understand that when I was growing up, my grandmother told me that when his brother's wife died.
Yeah.
When the brother's wife died, in fact, the brother's wife died at birth, at childbirth. So, but the boy survived. And my grandmother's mother, my great grandmother, he went and called. I'm translating from Ghana to English. He went and called back her breast. She went and called back her breast, and she breastfed. She was past menopause. She went and called back because she was taken somewhere, and they gave her some herbs or whatever, and she was able to start producing milk again, and she breastfed her grandson. You know, I said, so this is possible. I said, yes. Solo, the Solo guy that was breastfed by his grandmother.
Yeah.
So it means there's something there. I don't know what hormone, I don't know where all those skills have gone.
I think my
Then
what I
when we grew up,
yes, sorry, go on, go on.
when we grew up, so there was this woman, maybe 500 meters from our house, who used to remove stones on the eye. Now I've come to realize she was actually removing cataract. I don't know how she was doing that. When they say himbe stone on the eye, they mean cataract.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a wide range of skills in the community that have disappeared or they've not been properly documented and therefore not been transmitted.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we have all these things there. I was talking about Tammy. I don't know whether I know Tammy, but everybody in Accra in my generation knows Tammy. Is this red small? It's miraculous. I've forgotten the biological name, the botanical name. Sorry, miracle. I forgot it. Something miracle. That people are not saying that that's the next big thing. When you put it in your mouth, it's able to change your taste buds. It's the only sweet in the world that does not contain sugar. It's a protein. Actually, it's a glycoprotein. All right, forget about technical term. It's a protein that is able to change the configuration of your taste buds, and whatever it is becomes sweet. So you can drink whatever you want to drink. Its taste is sweet, but you are not going to make your diabetes worse. It's going to be the next big thing. And we grow it in Accra, no, not in Accra, in Dodua, in rural Ghana, and I'm sure part of southern Ghana. It grows in the wild.
Mm-hmm.
And this is pure money, more than gold.
Mm-hmm.
And we know now that from Oxford First, there was a publication by Oxford University probably 7, 8, 9 years ago that coconuts,
Mm-hmm.
the sugar in coconuts. You see, because we know, well, we believe we know, but maybe we don't know. We believe we know that Alzheimer's.
Oh, we've lost him again. He'll reconnect shortly. Here we go.
Hello. So
Yeah.
we know that coconuts, the carbohydrate, the sugar in coconuts, regresses the progression, or we stop the progression of Alzheimer.
Mm.
Yes, and I think it was first published by Oxford about 7, 8 years ago. I can't remember that, maybe 10 years ago. And since then, coconut has gained maximum market value. Over here, they sell it of coconut for $4.
Yeah.
But we have been eating coconut oil, coconut everything, and we haven't made it a cash crop yet.
Mm-hmm.
Coconut should be able to overtake cocoa in Ghana. Not so much as crop to eat, but as medicinal plants.
Mm.
And there are many of those things in Ghana. Many. Look, we have what they call tinkalo. You see, I never quite understood how it worked. I thought it was just all rubbish. But now I realize that when you come here, there's something called, what do you call it? Mycoplasma or whatever. Mycoplasma or whatever. I've forgotten its name. It's actually used a lot in Aborigines. Okay. They come with carbuncles, deep-seated abscesses, and you apply this mycoplasma on their skin, and somehow it's able to suck the thing and break the skin, and the abscess is drained. It's something, but anyway, it happens. Then I realized that Tinkalo in Ghana works on the same principle.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't seen one before, but Tinkalo appears to me, or will be what they call, will contain proteolytic enzyme. Proteolytic enzymes are enzymes that break skin. So when you smear it on the abscess, it eats into the skin and breaks the skin open. The abscess is drained. No antibiotics.
Mm-hmm.
Because we can't pay for that, we can't buy it.
Mm-hmm.
It's expensive. but we have something there that can work the same way quicker.
Yeah.
I mean, there are so many things that I grew up, and I'm talking of me growing up in Osu. I can imagine those who grew up in the villages, the stuff they know,
Hmm.
but nobody cares.
Yeah. It's seen as
So,
backward and primitive
my
or
friend,
uneducated. That's what it is. Um, the,
yes,
I think in the African continent we have such a wealth of so many things, particularly when it comes to plant medicine, that can heal, that can do so many things to the human body. But it was, I believe, there's a time that particularly with the whole West is best thing took over. That our own knowledge is primitive. Our own knowledge is it can't necessarily be trusted, so to speak. So a lot of that stuff has been done away with.
yeah,
We're
yes,
not documenting it, but I'm
yeah,
starting to get into it now and seeing the
yeah,
power of herbs. The power to change life with herbs is amazing. But plant medicine is amazing.
yeah, yeah. Plant medicine, and I'm telling you, even in Accra, even in Accra, even in Cosmopolitan Accra, the influence of plant medicine during our time when I was growing up was significant.
Mhm.
And I believe that in the rural part of Ghana, it will be bigger. And these are the things we have to invest in, experiment, and produce. And if we can do that, like Gojibe did to cocoa, I'm telling you, we'll get 10 times what you got from cocoa.
Mhm.
And I'm
Yeah,
going to be in charge.
yeah. I'll definitely be very excited about it. I'll keep my eye on that because, like, I'm very very impressed with all the knowledge I'm getting with regards to herbs and their healing properties, their spiritual
Yeah,
properties, etc. It's amazing. Just all
yeah,
the things that
yeah.
God has given this earth. We're just now starting to tap into it. Our forefathers knew, but then that knowledge was kind of put away. But now our people getting back into it again, picking it up again. It's
Yeah,
amazing.
oh no, yeah. There's, and I'm sure it will be even more massive in Nigeria
Mhm.
because, of course, more people, more land, more species of plants and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So it can be a start of a new revolution,
Yeah,
medicinal revolution in Africa.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's
So,
wonderful.
nah.
Well, just looking, there aren't any comments or questions, Dr. Nee. Sophia's
Ah.
on here, but there's three people viewing, but just Sophia's the only one that has interacted. There's no questions with regards to your presentation.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Well, we we're going to do what we can to say what we can.
Hmm.
If the Ghanaian wants a better life and the Ghanaian wants a better state, the Ghanaian wants better services, the Ghanaian should know what to do.
Hmm.
Because what we are experts in is complaining and insulting and doing nothing more than that. But they will have the chance to stay where they are or to move forward come next year. Um, like I was saying at the beginning, I contacted Uche only on Thursday, and Uche is actually a Nigerian, and she dropped everything she's supposed to do today to be here with us. And she's in London, and she goes to hospital. She can go to the best hospital in the world. She has all the services at her disposal, and yet she made time to come and be a host for a Ghanaian program. And Ghanaians will complain and will send you messages to give them money, to beg for money, and they will not come and listen and contribute. And they think it will change. Well, it doesn't work like that. It's as simple as that. I was telling Uche that I'm talking to you from the hospital because there is a flash flooding here. We're going to get 100 mils of water in 1 hour. The whole place. I mean, probably I have to call the police to come and evacuate me in their big cars. The place is off, right? But I left home to come here in the doctor's room to make this broadcast. And it's almost 11 p.m. here. And I'm on call 24 hours tomorrow. And I'm here. And people are sitting there crying, oh, we don't have this, we don't have that. And they are not participating. Well, like, what's his name? Che Guevara said, I'm not a liberator. Liberators don't exist. The people liberate themselves. So over to you, Ghanaians.
Okay, on that note,
Interesting, but yeah.
yeah, it's true. All right, it's true. If there are no questions, which there aren't, we'll end on that note. So thank you for that, Dr. Lee.
Yeah,
Like I said, I'm very excited about the plant medicine element of it. So I'll
yeah,
keep in touch with you
yeah,
about that to see how that's going. But
yeah,
thank
no
you.
worries. Yeah, yeah. Thank you very much, Uche, for the last minute rush. Yeah, thank you, and God bless you. When one day we shall meet in paradise, if Ghana becomes a paradise.
Yeah, we'll be one day.
All right.
Okay, take care, everybody. Enjoy
Yeah.
your day.
All right.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.